What's up, guys? Welcome back. I wanted to kind of give you an overview of what all happened at the Camp Perry Open. So I went up there and shot the monthly match the weekend before, like I said in my last video, and the next weekend was the Camp Perry Open. So I'm glad I went up and shot the week before. My scores definitely improved from that, which they couldn't really get much worse, but overall I'm happy with my performance. Shooting rifle and pistol was definitely a challenge, especially with the relays being as close as they are, and I also have been more practicing shooting pistol than rifle than pistol, which is what we were shooting at Perry. So a little different experience in terms of timing and relays and all of that. But overall, everything went pretty well. Rifle, I literally haven't practiced rifle. I've only been shooting pistol primarily. I shoot rifle as a break during PTOs, so it's basically been a month since I've shot. Actually, yeah, it's been about a month and a half since I had shot rifle. It was just for the fun of it. I did improve as the match progressed, so that's a positive. My last series, I ended up shooting over 100 and also finishing on a 10.9, so that's always fun and nice to do, finishing up a match. But overall, rifle went okay, considering, and it really wasn't my worst scores, and performance-wise, I was happy with the result. On the pistol side, I shot better on day 2 than day 1, and both days were better than the week before, so happy there. Still a bit lower than the average I'd been shooting, but overall still not bad. There was a lot of people that didn't shoot as well as they normally do, but as most people shot their average, so it's just kind of a mix of results. No one shot exceptionally well, but the pistol side overall was still, I had better process than the monthly match the week before, and I had an easier time focusing on my front sight because I was practicing that at home in that week in between the matches. So I actually had something happen that I have never had happen in a match before. I have been shooting for 18 plus years, most of that being on electronic targets, and this is the first time I've ever had to move targets because my target was broken. So day 2, sighters, I had one or two sighting shots that I thought were a little bit weird, but not like super bad. But then we started record, and like 3 shots into record, it said I shot a 3, which a 3 is like far out in the right at like 11 o'clock. And I was like, if the shot didn't feel fantastic, but it did not feel like a 3, and it did not feel like 11 o'clock. So I took my shooting glasses off and put my regular glasses back on, because like a 3 in the white is like blaringly obvious, and it's like there's no shot at 11 o'clock that far. Like there's no shots at 11 o'clock anyway, so what's going on? So I raised my hand and, asked him to check it, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna move you targets. So I had to move like 4 or 5 points down and get sighting time and then start record and shoot. And I specifically asked, it's like I go to 60 because they had transferred shots over. I go to 60 on this monitor, right? And they're like, yes. So I went to 60 on the monitor. Well, apparently when they nulled out the 3, it still counted as a shot on my monitor. So I got off the line, and they're getting ready to call time, and they yelled at me off the podium saying I needed to shoot one more shot. And I'm like, my monitor said 60. So I ended up having to like put all my stuff back on and go shoot one extra shot in order to have my full 60. I still was within time because I got a little bit of extra time from having to move points, but it still was like never have I had to move points because of target malfunction. And so that was new experience for me. You know, it's good to have those experiences because they don't happen super often. It's like occasionally they do. And it's always a good lesson that if you're good at calling your shots, or in this case, it's like you don't even have to be good at calling your shots. You can blatantly see if there's a shot in the white that's not supposed to be there. That, you know, you can always ask him to take a look at it and make sure the numbers look right. On the results side, you know, they get a lot of pressure measurements and directional measurements and stuff. And if it's not looking correct on their screen and it's obviously not downrange, you know, you have a right to have that shot voided or move points. But the only problem with like the Kongsbergs that CMP uses is there's no way to actually protest in 99% of the cases because there is no paper feed behind. Most international matches are required to have a paper that runs through that detects each shot, so that if you want to protest a shot, they can compare shots before and after to that shot you're protesting and see if it's a valid shot. Kongsberg, you don't have that. So the only ones you can actually protest are the ones that end up in the white. So that's why I could not necessarily protest, but like, yeah, hey, you know, something's up here because it says it's in the white. There's nothing in the white. So, you know, what's going on here? But it's always a good lesson that if something doesn't feel right and you have the option of, you know, asking, it's like, hey, can you just check the pressures or get a scope out and check the rubber? I've had that happen one time at the OTC in Smallbore, where the rubber, I ended up shooting a hole, not shooting a hole in the rubber, but I shot through a hole that was already there in the rubber. So some of my sighting shots got a little funky. But then once I got past that point, it was fine. So, you know, you have to trust yourself and your process and kind of be good at calling shots in order to really get the most out of some matches. And, you know, it's always good to have those experiences of things going wrong so that you're not flustered by them. And I really wasn't super flustered by it. It was just odd for me to have to like move points in the middle of a match. We had done some of that in practice with the junior club I shoot with, where we'll change points, you know, during practice just to kind of get used to things like that. But definitely something new for me, being shooting so long and not happening till this point in my career. So Camp Perry was a success in my mind. Definitely learned a lot and was able to overcome some challenges that I didn't even know were going to be a challenge. So it ended up turning out, like I say, better than the monthly match before, so that's really all I can ask for. But, you know, things to learn from and looking forward to next round of matches. So I need to start dry firing small bore as soon as pistol's over. So you look for some videos on small bore coming. So thank you for watching. If you like following my journey, please subscribe. If you have any videos that you would like me to make, please let me know down below, and hope you have a good rest of your evening.